All right. Hey, yo, what's up? It's Turgon the Wise coming back at you tonight with another video. As promised, I watched the finale, season one, Rings of Power on Amazon Prime, and it was good. I'm real happy with it. In a lot of ways, and in other ways, I have questions now. But I thought it was really well done, and the whole season was really well done. It's beautiful, beautiful job. Really good Sauron reveal. So before I go any deeper, if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want it spoiled, you need to click off of this video, okay? Thanks. So, yeah, Halbrand is Sauron, and they did a really good job of kind of like making you think he could be Sauron, but maybe he wasn't Sauron. Like they did a really really nice job keeping you guessing. You're like, wait, and then it's kind of funny. Like all of a sudden, the season finale, Gandalf can speak English better now. All of a sudden, and he sounds a lot like Gandalf. So if it's anybody other than Gandalf, that would be almost a little bit of a letdown at this point. 'Cause he just the things that he says are very Gandalfy. Um, the rings of power are interesting. In the lore, the 9 rings for men and 7 rings for dwarves were forged before the 3 elven rings were. So it's interesting to think that those 16 rings are not in existence yet. How will they introduce them into the storyline? Because they will have to be introduced into the storyline at some point. So, do we just assume that like they were made before erroneously, like they were abominations that were like, well, we tried and messed up. It wasn't good. Or maybe are they going to be like, okay, well, here's all the metal that was left over from the 3 elven rings. Let's let's make some other rings with these. They just won't be as powerful. They'll do other stuff. Um, but one thing is for sure, which is that Sauron is back. Now, the chick that shapeshifted, who the fuck is she? I have no idea. Some sort of a shapeshifter. Um, some sort of a sorceress. I mean, I thought that she was Sauron. I swear to God. But apparently she's not Sauron. She's maybe Sauron's chief lieutenant, which would be weird because you would think the Witch King was his chief lieutenant. Maybe she's like his chief lieutenant before the Witch King, because the Witch King should have been a king of men. He puts on the Ring of Power, he turns into the Witch King. So, who is she? Hopefully, we'll find out at some point. She shapeshifted in some sort of butterfly or some shit and flew off after Gandalf went Neo on him. But yeah, it was a really really fun episode. A lot of feels with the Harfoots and stuff. You know, we lost Sadik, and he seemed ready to go, um, which is sad. He was a cool character. I liked him, and but things happen. But it's weird that we don't have any kind of we had no dwarf continuation of the dwarven storyline, so we have no idea what's going on with Doran. We had no Aramir or Bronwyn or Theo or the Southlanders, and because we know that they were heading towards oh, what the hell's the name of the seaport? I'll show you in the game since I'm sitting here staring at the game. Might as well do something useful, right? They're going to Peligreer. That's where they're going. So that's pretty cool. We'll see that pretty soon. Um, hopefully in season two we'll come across them again. Um, yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Really cool how they took the dagger that was that beloved dagger of Galadriel. Um, that they took that and turned that into the 3 elven rings of power. So that really gives Galadriel some, even like it's deep because it gives her more sentimental value from her ring. Because that's like the last piece of her brother that exists. So that's really interesting. Really well done. Really, really good. Some really cool effects. Um, yeah, it's going to get really interesting. Season two is going to be really, really interesting. Um, the king is dead in Numenor, so I think with Muriel being blind and the king being dead, we're going to see Pharazôn do something to seize power, and then we're going to see him march on Mordor. Maybe he'll just agree to go with Muriel because Muriel already said she wants to go back. So maybe he'll just agree with her and they'll send like a massive, massive army out there at him. And that's how he's going to end up going back to Numenor and convincing them to go and attack Valinor. And then Numenor gets destroyed. Maybe that's like the end of season two, you know? Just kind of speculating a little bit here. Um, but before that happens, probably Eregion will be sacked. So Sauron will come. Will I don't know. It'll be interesting to see when he forges the One Ring. I In the lore, it's now. He's at Mordor now. He's forging the ring now. But I think in the show, what they're gonna do is he's gonna sack Eregion. He's gonna acquire the tool that Feanor used to create the Silmarils, and he's gonna take that back to Mordor, and that's when he's gonna create the One Ring. But that wouldn't fit with the lore because like, well, maybe it would. Maybe it could, because yeah, because Celebrimbor doesn't tell him where the Elven rings are. He gives him the 16. He don't care about them, but the three Elven rings, he won't tell him where they are, and that makes him mad. And he kills Celebrimbor for that. He's gonna probably kill him anyway, but that's what's gonna happen to Celebrimbor for sure, 100%. Um, really interesting. He's all over the place. He's in Numenor. It's just really, really interesting. That Halbrand is him. I thought Halbrand would end up being like the King of the Dead or something like that, but no, that's not happening. So who knows who that guy is still? That could be anyone. But really, really well done first season. I really liked the character development. They took the time to really develop the story and to develop the characters. They're using a good amount of the lore. They reference the Istari. You don't hear Gandalf by name, but you gotta know it's Gandalf. That's gotta be Gandalf. He just says so much shit that like Gandalf would say, and he's got a Harfoot with him. Like they're going on an adventure together. Like it's totally Gandalf and uh, Gandalfy stuff. Mithrandir, Olorin, who knows which name they're going to decide to use. Although they probably don't have the rights to all of them, because I mean, they didn't drop Anatar. They definitely used, Anatar was the Lord of Gifts, and like I knew when Halbrand was gonna say consider it a gift, I knew that was what he's gonna say. Like I literally said the words, and then he said the words, and my wife just looked at me like, "What?" So anyway, so Elrond knows because he saw the scroll. So and Galadriel knows. We still haven't seen Celeborn yet. I thought we might see Celeborn in Eregion, but we have not yet seen him there. Perhaps we'll see him later, because at some point Galadriel should be going through Moria and should have some sort of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like she's gonna build some sort of a relationship with the dwarves of Khazad-dûm. And yeah, season two, Sauron's coming for Eregion. He wants those rings, and he knows that they're making them, so he's gonna want the rings. And from what I understand from reading, if they're gonna follow any amount of the lore at all, then Sauron is gonna. This is gonna be the height of Sauron's conquest from a military standpoint. Um, he's gonna totally tear Eregion into shreds, sack the city. Um, Elrond is gonna come with an army of dwarves from Lindon, but he's going to be too late. Um, and take and end up taking some refugees north of Khazad-dûm and found that's where the refuge of Imladris is born. And the dwarves of Khazad-dûm distract Sauron from the rear to enable Elrond to escape, and Sauron beats him back, and that's when they lock their side of the door. So they should be in season two. There should be some sort of relationship with Celebrimbor and the dwarves happening, and they're going to be using Mithril or something because they have to create the door that gets sealed after Sauron chases them back in there. So that has to happen, in my opinion. Probably next season, I would hope, before Celebrimbor dies. End of season two should probably be Celebrimbor dying and Eregion getting sacked. But who knows? They could do that shit by like the fourth episode, so who knows? Um, yeah, maybe the end of season two is Sauron on a boat back to Numenor. Ooh, it could be something like that. There's so many cool ways that they could go with the story, and that's what I love about this first season of Rings of Power is that they've done an excellent job of queuing everything up, teeing everything up, so that like people like me who have read it are like, what's gonna happen next? What are they gonna do next? And the people who haven't read the books are like, whoa, this is pretty cool. I would hope anyway. I mean, visually it's stunning. The story is good. The dialogue is good. The acting is good. The action is good. The special effects are good. Like, I don't know why anybody wouldn't like this show unless they're just completely not into fantasy at all. And you can go back to your autobiographies and stuff. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make fun of people that don't like fantasy or Tolkien or Lord of the Rings, but I just ate this shit up and think it's phenomenal. So anyway, that's kind of my first take after watching it. It's 1:30 in the morning, so I might have missed some things. I'll probably go back and watch this video and realize things that I wanted to touch on and missed. I'll probably rewatch the whole season and kind of recap things again one more time after I've watched the whole season again. Anyway, so thank you for taking the time to watch this video. There's nothing about the game in this video. I'm not talking anything about the game at all. I don't care about any of that stuff. I just wanted to talk about Rings of Power. You can just sit here and stare at my base. Here, I'll give you one little huzzah before we go. You can have my last firework. Yay! Isn't that pretty? There, you get two more. There's one. I like the fireworks in this game. It's nice. I'm all out of them now though. That was it for me. Cheers, my friends. Take care and stay well.